All right. All right. There we go. That has started. Cool. Hello, guys, and welcome to the Red Rover Republic podcast. My name is Millie, and this is my co-host, Unrealness.
Just slightly late today. Just slightly late.
Only slightly. All right, guys. Big news today. I gotta get my celebratory drink. Marjorie Taylor Greene has decided to resign. Are we shocked? I'm
shocked. Actually a little shocked, to be honest with you.
Really?
I thought well, because I was so convinced that she was doing all this to run for president. So yeah, I am a tad bit shocked.
I don't know who's gonna vote for her. The GOP is pretty odd. I don't think anyone's gonna get behind her, knowing that MAGA is pretty much running the GOP right now. So her pulling the political stunts that she pulled, going on The View, kind of rubbing elbows a lot with the enemy. I just don't know if that's going to go over well for her, especially even if she runs for president. I just don't even know what she would campaign on. And I think the only people that are probably going to show up for her would be like the Groyper community, and that's pretty much a micro minority of the GOP. So
right, they're just really loud, small community. My guess is that they probably conducted some internal polling to see where she stands, and she probably had less than 1%. When doing these little internal surveys with her camp. So yeah, my guess is that maybe this is a different position. Maybe she's gonna wait, maybe run for governor in a couple years in her state. That might be something she might be looking into.
Maybe. I think it was pretty clear that Donald Trump said, you're getting primaried. I don't think she was going to survive the next primary, so I think in order to save face, she's probably just going to resign now instead of having to face the embarrassment of losing her seat through elections. So the question is who's going to be the next... the question is who's going to be the next runner-up after that?
Well, they're going to be doing the special elections. It looks like it should be held 30 to 60 days within these next 10 days. From Governor Brian Kemp is supposed to get this going. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just surprised she didn't at least try to finish out her term like that. I mean, I know she has a construction business where she likes to hire illegal immigrants, but
I would rather her get out instead of her rubbing elbows with Democrats in Congress and not getting the things done that need to get done. So we need people in there that are serious, that are going to focus on what America needs right now. The Epstein thing is done, over with, it's signed. The release is a done deal. They spent months on that when they could have been spending months on passing border legislation. We have opportunities for reconciliation that should be focused on, and instead of focusing on that, we are focused on a pedo that's been in the dirt for a few years. You know what I mean? Like, yes, I want to catch these guys, but not at the expense of not getting legislation passed that needs to be legislated. We only have 2 years before midterms, and then we don't have the majority anymore. And for every special election that goes by, it's a possibility that we could lose the seats that give us the majority to pass the legislation that we need. So
you're convinced then that the Republicans will be losing midterms then? I mean, that is historically how it works.
With the direction that we've focused on things, it's likely, yeah.
So do you think we should just nuke that filibuster and just start shoving things through?
They won't nuke it anyways. That's the problem with some of the Republican Party. There's just no backbone. I want to get rid of the people that don't have the backbone, that don't have the nutsack to be cutthroat in politics. Politics is very cutthroat. It's very down
Yeah.
and dirty. And what I see is Republicans are in the sandbox playing nice with their toys. And the Democrats are coming over and taking their toys out of the sandbox. And they're just like, oh, okay, whatever. Like, do
Yeah.
something. Stand up for
Spineless. Yeah.
yourself. You have no spine. I want people in there that have a backbone. And the
Mm.
Democratic Party does. And they're organized in what they're doing. So that's what
They're
I
not
would like to
afraid
see.
to exercise the power when they actually have it, where the Republicans are just absolutely just jellyfish, no spine.
Yeah.
Also, I mean, that's how we got to where we are now. You know, the Democrats would push for something crazy. The Republicans would push back just enough to maybe save themselves from a couple of things. So it's basically two steps forward for the Democrats, only one step back. So they've been slowly but surely just getting more and more of what they want, while the Republicans or the conservatives have been losing ground for decades, just slowly but surely over time. This is not anything new.
Well, that's because, again, they're getting caught up in the little things instead of focusing on what needs to be done. So you need to focus on getting the border bill passed. You need to solidify reforming asylum. You need to solidify protecting our children in school from transgender ideology and indoctrination. That's important. We could be banning communism. They can pass a
We
law that says we will never be a communist state. They could do that, and they are not doing that. They're just,
Well, they need to be going after the 14th Amendment and then forcing the Supreme Court to get to their damn decision quicker, right? We can be pushing
yes,
forward law.
yes. And
They,
the 14th Amendment allows, in Section 5 of the 14th, says Congress has the power to enforce the provisions of this article. So they could say, hey, we never clarified what subject to the jurisdiction means. So we're going to clarify that this is now what this means, and that would get rid of things like birthright citizenship for illegal immigrants that they've been able to get in through that loophole. So that's, what I would like to see closed up.
yeah,
So.
absolutely. Absolutely. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, there's some, and they're doing nothing. How many pieces of legislation they got through? The big beautiful bill,
They got the
which
Lake
has quite a few pieces in there, but
they got the Lake and Riley Act passed. They
mhm,
did the Take It Down Act. They got the Big Beautiful
right.
Bill. They got
Mhm.
House Continuing Resolution 14, which was a little bit of the budget. We just passed the bill that got us through. It's HR 5371 for the continuing resolution for the budget. Outside of that, I haven't really seen any crazy legislation that I'm like, yes, thank
No.
God this got passed. I mean, it's basically the Big Beautiful Bill. That's it.
Well, they got the rescissions in. They got the rescissions in. I saw that, which was only worth around $9 billion. I say only because that's just a drop in the bucket compared to what it should be.
Yeah, it's not
I,
enough.
I look for more rescissions. More rescissions. Just you don't need a majority to get rescissions put through. The only downside is you have to revisit it constantly. But you can get a minority just or a simple majority to get those rescissions through. So I would like to see more of those.
And repeal the ACA. Like it's time. You know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
we've
It's
said
time.
that we were gonna do this, and it's still years down the road. It's not done yet. So it's all of it's a bit
So
of
what do
a
you think about
mess
JD Vance though? What about JD Vance had stated that they actually were working on something they were
for
proposing to the
healthcare.
Democrats for healthcare? Yeah. He was on stage at Turning Point and he alluded to it. And he said there was conversations with Democrats on making, replacing the ACA with something, and that this was a couple days before the shutdown happened, and they decided to, instead of talking about it, they wanted the answer to the ACA before it happened, and the response was, well, we can't have that done in just 2-3 days. We need more time. And so instead of actually going, okay, listen, we'll push this through, and then we'll revisit it after we get the government funded, and we'll, maybe hopefully get something figured out by the time the ACA ends. And instead of actually, playing or acting like adults, they decided to weaponize, Medicaid and everything else against, just in order to use leverage against these people, rather. So, yeah, I mean, they're acting like they're acting like children. They're acting like absolute children, left, right, and center. Again,
You know
like we
me.
were saying
I
before.
would I would prefer that they pass a law saying that, we're going to put an end to these legal Ponzi schemes. That's what insurance really truly is. It's basically a collective fund that you draw upon when you need it, and then you pay a little bit more money into it when you need to use it. And I think once we put this back in the free market and there's better solutions, I think that the issue that they have now where they're just subsidizing insurance companies and they're just basically writing a check and giving it to these people. I would rather write the check to the American people and say, here, you choose which insurance company that you're going to use on the privatized market, because then it still allows for insurance to stay competitive with each other on pricing.
Right.
When you just cut the check and just hand it out to the insurance companies, it's garbage. I mean, that's what TRICARE does. They pick it's Humana on one side of the aisle, and I think that there's a new one on the West Coast. I forget what it is. We just moved away from an insurance company, so we switched into another one. But these people have a contract, and when they have a contract, you just cut the check from the government, they send it over to them. I would like for there to be more competition in the insurance market. But
yeah, the problem though is, is that when they're doing that, those check cuts, the insurance companies are determining how much each thing is worth. So they're artificially inflating prices, knowing that the federal government will pay basically whatever they're asking for.
Yes. And that's why I'm saying we're super subsidizing these insurance companies through ACA. These insurance companies are making massive amounts of money off of this. And I'm kind of sick of it. And it's costing us a hell of a lot of money. But I do want to dissect the resignation video from Marjorie Taylor Greene before we get too far off from that. Here we go.
Hi, everyone. I've always represented the common American man and woman as a member of the House of Representatives, which is why I've always been despised in Washington, D.C., and just never fit in. Americans are used by the political industrial complex of both political parties, election cycle after election cycle, in order to elect whichever side can convince Americans to hate the other side more. And the results are always the same. No matter which way the political pendulum swings, Republican or Democrat, nothing ever gets better for the common American man or woman. The debt goes higher, corporate and global interests remain Washington's sweethearts, American jobs continue to be replaced, whether it's by illegal labor or legal labor by visas or just shipped overseas. Small business.
If I could just pause her right there.
Yeah.
Why is it that you're complaining about illegal immigrants taking jobs when you just got done saying in your other video that I don't really want to do mass deportation because I have like a construction business, so like, how are you even complaining about that, Marjorie, when you don't care about removing those people? I just had to call out that BS when I heard it.
Businesses continue to be swallowed by big.
Did you have thoughts on that? Sorry.
No, you basically exactly what I was going to say, basically. Yeah. That the previous video she put out, she's like, oh, I have construction workers. Or like, oh, you're hiring illegal aliens. I see. Okay. I got you.
These people on these visas, it's not even just the visas, too. You're fine with the illegal immigrants taking these jobs as well. So, I mean, what are we talking about here?
Corporations, Americans' hard-earned tax dollars always fund foreign wars, foreign aid, and foreign interest. And the spending power of the dollar continues to decline. The average American family can no longer survive on a single breadwinner's income, as both parents have to work in order to simply survive. And today, many in my children's generation feel hopeless for their future and don't think they will ever realize the American dream. And that breaks my heart. I ran for Congress in 2020 and have fought every single day believing that Make America Great Again meant America first. I have one of the most conservative voting records in Congress, defending the First Amendment, Second Amendment, unborn babies.
I'm still like waiting to hear from these people, and I debate these people on a regular basis. How is MAGA not America first? I keep asking them this because they got so entrenched in like Israel derangement syndrome. We've secured $21 trillion of investments into American businesses from foreign countries. We did that. We've been trying to wrap up all of the BS in the Middle East so we don't have to get into foreign wars anymore. I don't understand how these people somehow lost the messaging through the propaganda that MAGA is not America first. We've always been America first.
Yeah, well, they're thinking. I mean, they're short-sighted, right? Because when it comes to that, the trillions of dollars you were just mentioning, that's not instant, right? That's over the course of like 10 years or whatever, depending on the deal. So I think the way they're looking at it is like, well, you saw the being disingenuous about the Saudi Arabian deal. Saying, well, that's more than their GDP than they have. I'm like, yeah, in a year, that's and they didn't say that trillion or so dollars in the trade with the MiG or with not with the MiGs, but the F-35s and everything. They're completely missing the point. It's not over the course of 1 year. It's over the course of 10 years is what that deal was. So, right, it's 21 trillion. They're wildly misrepresenting what that actual deal is. I think I understand some of the points, but I'm not going to go. We can talk about that a little later in terms of what people are. They're probably referring to what Donald Trump was speaking to, like we were talking about last week about the 50-year the loans on the house, the 600,000 Chinese foreign students coming in, those kind of things. I kind of understand
Yes,
what that means,
though
but
that particular situation with the Chinese students, that is the one thing that I'm going to say, yeah, that was not putting us first. But outside of that, we increased the visas for H-1B to $100,000 to bring someone in on a H-1B visa. It's going to cost you quite a bit of money to bring people in on
mhm,
that program now. And I think the other thing that people need to understand, America first is not America only. You still
right,
need to have foreign relations. You still have to have connections within the foreign community, or else the isolation could end up crippling you,
right.
especially when there's intelligence that you may have missed because you were too busy sitting here in your own little corner. You can't do the foreign policy that way. Yes,
Well,
you can
yeah,
focus on yourself and put yourself in your interest to a certain degree, but you also have to be able to make alliances with people, get trade negotiations going. Those are important.
right.
So,
Certain products we can't make either. It's just impossible, right? We can grow bananas in a very controlled area at small scales. But like our coffee, right? We get our coffee from the Kona coffee companies from in Hawaii, but we're not able to provide the amount of coffee that America is needing. So there's obvious things we have to do business with outside of our country, and to be completely shut off from the world is insane. And that would be an argument for ultra nationalism. I think you and I are definitely not, nationalists. We want to make America. We are America first, but we also recognize that there's limitations to what we can and cannot produce.
especially when like OPEC, for instance, like people always say like we
Hmm.
put Israel first. I think we rub elbows with Saudi Arabia more than probably any other country because Saudi Arabia is the key to getting cheaper energy because of their control over the oil production, because of their control over energy output. That is very important. Our petrodollar relies on them. Like we have put so much in the hands of Saudi Arabia versus places like Israel, the UK, Germany, France, like all of the other G7 nations. We have a lot of trade negotiations as well with Japan as well. And I think people forget all of those other negotiations that we have, and they're so hyper focused on one thing. I just want them to focus more on, yes, we have trade deals negotiated, but however, you know, being America first isn't talking about other countries 95% of the time. And I feel like that happens quite often
Right.
now. But I'm going to finish out her video here.
Because I believe God creates life at conception, and I love to fight for the little guy. Strong, safe borders, I have fought hard for that. I've fought against COVID tyrannical insanity and mandated mass vaccinations, and I've never voted to fund foreign wars with your hard-earned tax dollars. However, with almost 1 year into our majority, the legislature has been mostly sidelined. We endured an 8-week shutdown, wrongly, resulting in the House not working for the entire time, and we are entering campaign season, which means all courage leaves and only safe campaign re-election mode is turned on in the House of Representatives. During the longest shutdown in our nation's history, I raged against my own speaker and my own party for refusing to proactively work diligently to pass the plan to save Americans' health care and protect Americans from outrageous, overpriced, and unaffordable health insurance policies. The House should have been in session working every day to fix this disaster. But instead, America was force-fed disgusting political drama once again from both sides of the aisle on television every single day. My bills, which reflect many of President Trump's executive orders, like calling for a new census counting Americans only to draw new districts, making English the official language of the U.S., making it a felony to medically trans a minor, and other bills like eliminating capital gains taxes on the sale of your primary home and eliminating H-1B visas. Just sit. They all sit collecting dust. That's how it is for most members of Congress bills. The Speaker never brings them to the floor for a vote. Many common Americans are no longer easily convinced by paid political propaganda spokespersons
She wasn't wrong there,
and
though.
consultants on TV and paid shills on social media obediently serving with cult-like conviction to force others to swallow the political party talking points. Because they know how much credit card debt they have, they know how much their bills have gone up over the past 5 years. They actually do their own grocery shopping and know food costs too much. Their rent has increasingly gone up and up. They have been outbid by corporate asset managers too many times when they put in an offer to buy a house. They have been laid off after being forced to train their visa holding replacement. The college degree they were told to earn only left them in debt with no big six-figure salary. They see more homeless people than ever on their own community streets. They can't afford health insurance or practically any insurance, and they just aren't stupid. These are the people I represent and love because that is who all of my family and friends are, common Americans. I've been blessed to represent the 14th District of Georgia for 5 years. The district is filled with some of the most wonderful, kind-hearted, God-fearing, patriotic, hardworking people you will ever meet. Good, regular, common Americans. I've worked hard to bring taxpayer dollars back home to help district needs. I impeached Biden's Secretary of Homeland after watching my constituents die as he facilitated dangerous open border invasion into America. And I led the effort to defund hard-left politically biased NPR and PBS and the corrupt USAID, and I did that as chair of the DOJ subcommittee. I have fought harder than almost any other elected Republican to elect Donald Trump and Republicans to power. I traveled the country for years. I spent millions of my own money. I missed precious time with my family that I can never get back. And I showed up in places like outside the New York courthouse
She's worth
in
25
Collect
million
Pond
right
Park.
She's made a lot of money being in
She
office
she
and
she went
stocks.
from she went from $700,000 in her net worth up to 25 million. She made a giant bag and now she's out.
Well,
That's
on top of that, she talks about the struggles of the American people. She talks about the credit card debt. It's like nobody told you to go out and get a credit card. You could get a credit with a very small limit, pay that credit off. You could set it at $500, $1,000 a month, and pay it off. Nobody told you to go get like a, $15,000 credit limit. Nobody told you to do that.
I mean, during the pandemic, if you saw the increase in credit card debt during the pandemic, where people were seemingly, it's like, yeah, people were, the economy was shit, but it even got worse. That not only was the economy, horrible, we also had, gigantic amounts of credit card use because people just simply had to because of, everything entangles, right? Inflation's up, you have to pay more for everything else, and credit card debt skyrocketed alongside it. So yeah, people people don't realize how bad it was, but you look back during like, the Great Depression, even like obviously the lines of credit were a little bit different and the access to credit was a lot different. The day you turn 18, you got credit card, forms showing up in your mailbox. When I turned 18, I had like 10 in my mailbox the day I turned 18 or a couple days after I turned 18. So very predatory.
I
I will say that.
I think what people are expecting is you get something like 9% inflation, 20% cumulative inflation over 4 years, and people just expect that within 10 months of electing a new president that it's just going to go away like that. It doesn't happen like that. So what you have to hunker down in and focus on getting wages up, and that comes with securing investments into opening factories here, manufacturing here, manufacturing our own good to stop supply chain disruptions. Even if we manage to get ourselves in a situation, right, where AI starts taking over manufacturing, with it being produced here domestically, we can still get the cost of goods down here domestically and still not have to deal with all of the price of supply chain disruptions. Like you had the longshoremen that threatened to go on strike. I don't think people understand what the severity of that would have been if they all would have decided not to bring in anything from port. It would have been catastrophic inflation if that would have been allowed to take place. Another reason why I think some of the unions can be more harmful than good. But
right.
we have to
What's the
start focusing on
backlash?
that.
What's the
Backlash to what?
backlash had they done if to the people if they decided to do that type of strike? You know, like the backlash of not only, you know, their own family but their friends of these people. I mean, when people talk about going on strikes that would cause that much damage, you know, that's why there's negotiations to begin with, because they're not going to get everything they want. Because if let's say they did actually go through with it, what would that mean for them, their friends, their family? I mean, that would affect them also. If inflation goes through the roof, these people can't afford anything, even you know. So I mean,
They
I
didn't
kind of try to
care.
look
They
at that from a
wanted
point.
securities that AI wasn't going to come in and take their job in like 10 years, which, you know, I mean, as things
I get that.
advance, you know, AI can end up entering into the field. That's why you need to get control over immigration now. You need to stop the offshoring of labor now and not wait years down the road. This is why Congress has to get on board with tariffs. And if they don't get on board with tariffs, you're just going to see us just absolutely get wiped by China. I mean, China knows what they're doing. Unfortunately, our Congress has no idea what they're doing as far as an economy goes. And that's the
Well,
worst part about
they don't care. I mean, you got one side who does nothing, like we said. They're a bunch of spineless jellyfish, and then you got the other side that they don't care if the country gets on fire as long as Donald Trump looks bad. You know, you see the constant advocations for, or these they're advocating for, you know, blackout days where nobody goes out and spends money so they can hurt the economy. If they're willing to hurt the economy that way, I mean, it doesn't take much convincing that they're willing to completely destroy the economy by any means, as long as it makes Donald Trump look bad. So
well,
I wouldn't put it past him.
I'm frustrated with people that say that they want a completely centrally planned economy, knowing that our people in Congress have no idea what they're doing. They know nothing about economics. Half of these people can't even pass a budget. Asking them to sit down and even collect a budget is asking too much for our representatives. This is the problem. And they're advocating for a centrally planned economy when it comes to socialism. It will fail every single time because these people are not equipped to handle the economy. I mean, that's how we got 9% inflation, if you ask me. But I'll finish this off because I think there's about 5 minutes left of this.
Against a raging leftist mob as Trump faced Democrat lawfare. Meanwhile, most of the establishment Republicans who secretly hate him and who stabbed him in the back and never defended him against anything have all been welcomed in right after the election. And I will never forget the day I had to leave my mother's side as my father had brain surgery to remove cancerous tumors in order to fly to Washington, D.C. to defend President Trump and vote no against the Democrats' second impeachment in 2021. My poor father and my poor mother, it was way too much for all of us. Through it all, I never changed or went back on my campaign promises and only disagreed in a few areas, like my stance against H-1Bs replacing American jobs, AI state moratoriums, debt for life 50-year mortgage scams, standing strongly against all involvement in foreign wars, and demanding the release of the Epstein files. Other than that, my voting record has been solidly with my party and the president. Loyalty should be a two-way street, and we should be able to vote our conscience and represent our district's interests because our job title is literally representative. America first should mean America first and only Americans first, with no other foreign country ever being attached to America first in our halls of government. Standing up for American women who were raped at 14 years old, trafficked and used by rich, powerful men should not result in me being called a traitor and threatened by the President of the United States, whom I fought for. However, while yes, hurtful, my heart remains filled with joy, my life is filled with happiness, and my true convictions remain unchanged because my self-worth is not defined by a man, but instead by God who created everything.
Your self-worth? You mean your net worth?
You see, I have never...
What makes me angry is that she contributes her being called a traitor because of her going and voting to pass the Epstein files release. That's not why you were called a traitor. You were called a traitor because you took a stance against pro-deportation based off of you owning a construction company. You started going on The View and talking shit. On top of that, you were rubbing elbows with the Democrats and then standing next to Thomas Massie, who was saying that Donald Trump is protecting pedos, while at the same time not turning to Thomas Massie and saying to him, that's ridiculous. Stop saying that Trump is protecting pedos. This is a legislative issue. It's nothing to do with the Department of Justice or the executive branch. They're held restrained by judicial court orders, just the same thing that Biden's administration said. So again, she didn't step up for Donald Trump and defend any of that. She just kind of let that happen and then continued to go on mainstream media and play toxic politics with Democrats. That's why you got called a traitor. It has nothing to do with you saying you're going to pass the Epstein files. It has nothing to do with that. Notice how Nancy Mace isn't being called a traitor. Okay.
Exactly.
Donald Trump never went out and said Nancy Mace is a fucking traitor. Nobody said that. The reason why you're getting called out, Marjorie, is because you were over here rubbing elbows with fucking Democrats. That's what you were doing. And you got called out for it. And then you turned around and, pretended to be a victim, saying that you understand even a little bit what these victims of Epstein feel like. You don't fucking know what they feel like. You getting called out by the president is nothing even similar to that, which is just, I don't know. These people live in an alternate reality. I don't know.
I'm telling you, governor. She's gonna go for governor. This is her little speech here. So like, I can work with both sides, and here's the speech that proves that. I'm telling you, it's gonna be governor.
We'll see.
Valued power,
it's either that or
titles,
president.
Or attention,
I think she's going to
in spite of all the wrong assumptions about me. I do not cling to those things because they are meaningless and empty.
That'll be as successful as Nikki Haley.
Too many people in Washington. I believe in term limits and do not think Congress should be a lifelong career or an assisted living facility. My only goal and desire has ever been to hold the Republican Party accountable for the promises it makes to the American people and put America first. And I have fought against Democrats' damaging policies like the Green New Deal, wide open, deadly, unsafe border policies, and the trans agenda on children and against women. With that has brought years of nonstop, never-ending personal attacks, death threats, lawfare, ridiculous slander and lies about me that most people could never withstand even for a single day. It has been unfair and wrong, not only to me, but especially to my family, but it's been wrong to my district as well. I have too much self-respect and dignity. I love my family way too much, and I do not want my sweet district to have to endure a hurtful and hateful primary against me by the president that we all fought for, only to fight and win my election while Republicans will likely lose the midterms, and in turn be expected to defend the president against impeachment after he hatefully dumped tens of millions of dollars against me and tried to destroy me. It's all so absurd and completely unserious. I refuse to be a battered wife, hoping it all goes away.
So small,
and
I
gets
can't
better.
even hear it.
If I am cast aside by the president and the MAGA political machine and replaced by neocons, big pharma, big tech, military-industrial war complex, foreign leaders, and the elite donor class that can never ever relate to real Americans, then many common Americans have been cast aside and replaced as well. There is no plan to save the world or a 4D chess game being played. When common American people realize and understand that the political industrial complex of both parties is ripping this country apart, that not one elected leader like me is able to stop Washington's machine from gradually destroying our country, and instead the reality is that they, common Americans, the people, possess the real power over Washington, then I'll be here by their side to rebuild it. Until then, I'm going back to the people that I love, to live my life to the fullest as I always have, and I look forward to a new path ahead. I'll be resigning from office with my last day being January 5th, 2026, and I look forward to seeing many of you again sometime in the future. May God bless you all, and may God bless America.
Yeah, she made 10 times her net worth in just a matter of like a few years.
Fat paycheck. Her donos are crazy though. When I looked at the amount of money that she had on her donations versus like her opposition, it was insane. It was in like a completely different realm financially. Let me see if I can. I don't know if I.
Yeah,
can
I do think that right there was her her initial not initial, well, her unofficial announcement that she's going to be running for governor, especially with that final statement. I think that's her next move.
I think she's going to run for president.
She has no chance for president. And I think she knows that.
Well, but the thing I keep going back to is that interview she did with that one guy where he was like, I think, you're going to be the next president. You remember that?
Oh, was that Tim Dillon or who was it?
I forget who was interviewing her.
Oh, was it? Maybe it was Schultz. I can't remember. I'm trying to think. Was it on trigonometry? I'm trying to think of which one it was. Not trigonometry, but flagrant or flagrant. I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah.
Who was it?
Well, it was the one where she was talking about, we're not going to do this and this and this. We're not going to do mass deportation because I have a construction company. It was the same interview. So I don't know if I can make this any closer. Wait, I can. Okay. So just so we're clear, these were the people that she was running against. Like the money that was funneled into her campaign was massive.
Holy, that is insane.
Yeah.
I love how there are people who spent $0.
like it's not
$455. Come on, you weren't even trying.
100%. And
insane.
She made lots of money. I mean, the amount that she made on her last campaign in 2024, and this came from Open Secrets. So let me see if I can grab that for you.
I gotta see whose podcast this was. Whose was it? Who are you talking to? Yeah, it was Tim Dillon. Yeah, it was Tim Dillon. Okay, I thought it was. Yeah, it's Tim Dillon's podcast.
So look at the amount raised. Look at the amount spent.
Wow.
She spent way over for her campaign. By the way, she always kept saying that like Donald Trump had nothing with her to do with her getting her seat. She ran in 2020. Like Donald Trump is basically running the GOP at that point. So yes, Donald Trump did play a huge role in you being able to get where you got in politics. So I'm not going to say she, is a complete traitor or anything. I just think that my issue with her is that you went and played this toxic game of politics with CNN, The View, all of these other mainstream media outlets, and there's a reason why you got called out versus some of the other Republicans that got on board with passing the release of the Epstein files. It wasn't the passing of the Epstein files. It was like the both sides of the aisle playing that you were doing and like canoodling with the Democratic Party while they're all sitting there calling Donald Trump a pedo protector. Like obviously Trump would have an issue with that. So I don't know where she thought that was going to go, but she was going to get primaried, and I think she knew the writing on the wall was coming, that she was going to lose her seat.
What I thought was going to happen, I thought she was going to switch political sides. That's what I thought was going to happen. I thought she was going to flip to Democrat. Well, with her interview on The View and that interview with Tim Dillon, I was like, oh, this seems like she's trying to be like that centrist left, leaning person. But we all know that on the Democrat Party that doesn't exist. You're either all in or you're a far right fascist. So that.
I also wanted to go over one of the recent things that had happened. I think also we had a lot of breaking news tonight. I wasn't expecting this amount of news to get dropped right before the podcast, but I'm glad that it did. So Donald Trump put out on Truth Social Minnesota, under Governor Walz, is a hub of fraudulent money laundering activity. I am, as the President of the United States, hereby terminating effective immediately the Temporary Protective Status TPS program for Somalis in Minnesota. Somali gangs and terrorizing people of the great state, and billions of dollars are missing. Send them back to where they came from. It's over, President DJT.
Wait, so have we seen a judge try to block this yet?
Not
I mean,
yet.
I know he has a unilateral power to do this, but I wouldn't be surprised. I'm waiting for that. I'm checking. I keep refreshing my Twitter page, just waiting for a judge to claim that they blocked it.
I'm sure it's on the way, but I thought
Trump went after. I thought Trump went after these temporary statuses. I thought, early on he actually eliminated a lot of them, but apparently he didn't get these guys. Yeah, you're right, he did.
He went over
with Haitians. Yeah,
it was with the Cubans, Haitians, Nicaraguans, and Venezuelans. That's what he attacked first. So he went with that along with the other Pearl program, which is the CBP1 app. So it was 30,000 people a day coming in on the CHMV program. I'm sorry, 30,000 a month were coming in on CHMV. And then with the CBP1 app, it was 1,500 people a day on that app. But I mean, things in Minnesota have gotten out of control. This was just one recent example. Now Cam Higbee and who else? It's Nick Shirley is also out there as well.
Yeah,
on the ground there. And
Nick Sordo is he's on the ground out there as well. He says Ilhan Omar is going to lose her shit over this one. He stated this 2 hours ago. Yeah.
I mean, there's just been way too much fraud, especially with the Medicaid program, right? And I can guarantee you they were shitting their pants when we said USAID, the tap is getting shut off there, because they were also trying to funnel money through USAID. But
of course,
this was
once the money hits the NGOs, they have no idea, they have no way of tracking that money or tracing that money. So yeah, of course.
This
100%.
was a super disturbing video. I mean, there was a couple of things, and there was also the Death to America chant that was being chanted in front of the mayor as well. So I'm going to play that video too after this. But this was interesting.
Yeah. Now you have all these Islam men yelling Allah Akbar. I have a question for you guys. If America were to get in a war with a country like Iraq, who would you guys defend, America or Iraq?
We won't get in a war. That's not permissible for us. But at the same time,
who would you defend first?
We would support our brothers in Iraq. That's the only way.
So you wouldn't defend America?
We would not defend America.
But you're American.
But at the same time, listen. At the same time, America is our country because we were born here. But in our Islamic book, we're not allowed to fight with people that are against our religion. So we just take up the jail time.
So you would
That's what we do.
So you would not defend America?
I would go to jail instead of fighting for America.
And who would you defend if we were to go to war against a country like Iraq again, America or Iraq?
America.
Bunch of coward.
And should that be a troublesome conflict of interest for somebody to be here in America that would rather support another nation like Iraq?
Anybody who supports another nation needs to live in that nation. This is a Christian nation. A lot of the Constitution is based off of the Bible. And how far the country has fallen.
Yeah. Okay. Obviously, he's an American citizen. What you have to start doing is you have to crush and demoralize these people by sending any of their relatives or anyone that they, that just has, some type of visa or what have you, who are among that group, right? You can't deport Americans. That's not going to happen. You can't stop this guy from saying what he's going to say because freedom of speech. True. He has a lot of protections. But something tells me he has a family member here who has a green card or they're here. They naturalized here, where we can obviously denaturalize and send their asses home, and maybe they'll start appreciating this country a little more. We need to start demoralizing and crushing these people's mindset on America, because they're taking it for granted. They're absolutely taking it for granted. That whole little statement made me sick to my stomach.
Well, the only reason that those people were born here to begin with was because we allowed people to come here on Syrian refugee status. So the Syrians came here, the Somalians came here, we gave them permissions, and that's how they were ending up getting born here in the first place. These people aren't native, indigenous to the land. They're not from Europe. They didn't come across on Ellis Island. They weren't part of that immigration group. They were part of the group that was taken in after our 20-year stunt in the Middle East. That's how they got here. So moving forward, it's time to ban visas from the Middle East. I'm over it. I don't care what country.
But also denaturalize these people. Well, obviously you
Denaturalize
can't.
them if they
Yeah, you can't just
have.
get rid of these people, but yeah, you can denaturalize their parents. You can send them back home, make them really appreciate what they have here. Again, you have to demoralize and crush this attitude, and the only way to do so is to completely uproot all of their beliefs. If you start denaturalizing and sending their parents or even their great grandparents, I don't even care at this point. Denaturalize, send them home because you literally raise your kids to support foreign nations over America. That makes zero sense to me. And also, I want to make it clear that kid, he's not doing nothing. He's, war on either side. He's going to shit himself in a corner. He's not doing anything.
My issue being is that when we took people into this country, we didn't get them on the book swearing allegiance to this country. That's not what ended up happening. And these people didn't assimilate here. And so they still have loyalties to other countries more than they have a loyalty here. And so for the exact same reason why in World War II, we were taking people who were Japanese, who were still natural-born Americans, but they were aligning themselves with Japan during that period of times. And that's why we ended up doing that, because certain people during a time of war couldn't be trusted within civilian population because there was too much concern that there would be attacks. And so I think we're getting to a point where, we need to just cut off all immigration coming from the Middle East. I think that Europe at some point is going to wake up and realize that. Japan woke up and realized that recently when they were giving a speech about how much crime has come into their country based off of immigration just in Japan. He said that they were saying the native Japanese people don't commit the crimes that are happening on a foreign status. So I'm getting there where I'm like, I'm over it. I don't want to bring anybody else in here.
So complete blackout for now 10, 20 years or so? Just no immigration, no asylum seeking, nothing? Is that your thoughts?
I'm done with asylum. There's plenty of places for people to seek asylum. I think we've done our fair share of taking people in, so much so that we are backlogged almost 5 to 7 years on asylum cases in the judicial branch. Like, we are so bogged down on asylum claims. I think we're good. Like, we did our part. I don't think we owe anybody anything. Especially with when it costs us the amount of money that it's costing us to bring people in here. But on top of that, these people aren't even fucking grateful for what we've offered them, for the sanctuary that we've offered them, for the freedoms that we've offered them, the reason that they're able in this country to go shout off all of the things that they say, like Allah Akbar. You wouldn't be able to do that in some countries. They can, they're not taking into account that, how great it is to be here. I mean, yeah, if you go to the country, you go to a Middle Eastern country or a Islamic ran state, essentially, yes, obviously you can scream these things, but there is no allowance of opposition. This is definitionally fascism, right? They know that where they really support will 100% back them and silence people like you, like I, or like these people out in the streets protesting against them. They don't like the idea of protesting against what they believe. These are definitionally fascist states. I mean, it's a fact. And then they turn around and call us fascists for exercising our First Amendment rights. The irony, the lack of critical thinking skills coming out of these people. I don't know if you've seen the little speeches they did over there as well, when you see these Antifa members essentially crying about fascism while literally advocating for fascism. It is beyond parody. Well, on top of that, I think it's time that we bring back exile. You start talking shit on this country, you start fucking shitting on America, saying that you're going to support a foreign country over us. Let's bring back exile. All right, fine, get out. There's the door. See ya. Don't come back.
Let's bring back blasphemy laws, right?
I don't know about blasphemy laws, but there's a certain rage that I feel when people say, I would rather defend Iraq in a war between America and Iraq, and you're very confidently saying we're gonna put Iraq first. Fuck you, get out. You know what I mean? And then on top of that, you have this shit.
Not a great look. The mayor condemned it. The White House condemned it. But what about Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib? She reps Dearborn. Is she okay with her constituents chanting death to America?
course she is.
Fox
She's
Business
Palestinian.
correspondent Hillary Vaughn asked her. Watch.
Congresswoman Tlaib,
Fox News. I don't talk to Fox News.
at a rally in your district, people were chanting "Death to America." Do you condemn?
Talk to Fox News.
Do you condemn chants of "Death to America"?
I don't talk to people that use racist tropes.
Why can't you just say whether or not you condemn people chanting "Death to America"? Why are you afraid to talk to Fox?
Fox News is not listen, using racist tropes towards my community is what Fox News is about, and I don't talk to Fox News.
Is "Death to America" racist?
Fox News.
Is chanting "Death to America" racist?
Talking about your guys' racist tropes. You know, you guys know exactly what you do. I know you're Islamophobic, but you guys got to go deal with it on your own self. You're not going to use me.
Yeah, challenging people saying "Death to America" is Islamophobic. That's insane. I'm beside myself. That this woman is unhinged, just absolutely unhinged. How easy is it for you to say, yes, I completely condemn those who are chanting "Death to America"? Why is that so hard to say?
Well, I think she forgets there's a reason why people are Islamophobic. It's almost like Islam has committed many atrocities against our country. Islam is creating many atrocities in Nigeria right now. I just watched a video last night. It was horrific. I didn't even expect to come across the video, but they literally filmed themselves pew-pewing so many people. I mean, it was bodies all over the ground, and they were walking around just putting extra rounds into already dead bodies. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, it was gruesome.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie. I was kind of like, whoa, what the fuck?
I suggest you don't dive any further. There are videos from the same area where they're crucifying Christians out there and walking up to each individual and essentially blowing their brains out.
Yeah.
Walking right behind them and blowing their brains out. First, they would crucify them. They put them on a cross, and then we just execute them one by one in a line. Entire families. Crazy.
I'm just tired of the gaslighting from people that are Islamic to be like, well, stop being Islamophobic. Fuck you. Islam committed 9/11. They did the attack on Pulse nightclub. They did the Boston Marathon bombing. They did the San Bernardino shooting. They've committed many atrocities and continue to say from foreign countries that they want death to America. Fuck you. Don't tell me not to feel some type of way against Islam. It's not Christianity that's out there saying that we're going to slaughter everybody that doesn't believe in our religion. It's not even Judaism that is doing that either. It's not Buddhism that does that. It's not Hinduism that does that. It's not Taoism that does that. There's only one specific religion that calls for that. That has attacked American citizens on our own soil. I'm fucking over it. I'm tired of the gaslighting.
You know, they like to say, well, Christians are violent towards. First off, no. If you have to go back several hundreds of years in order to go back to the Sixth Crusade to bolster your argument, you are lost, because I can go back to just a couple of days ago or just yesterday and show you endless videos of Christians being executed left, right, and center by the Islamic terrorists. Like, that's insane. These jihadists. I don't have to reference something that happened hundreds of years ago. I can just go to yesterday, or I wouldn't be surprised if I did just a little bit of research right now. I could probably find something as recent as just a couple of hours ago. I would not be surprised. That's how bad it is.
It's awful. And I'm so tired of, you're an Islamophobe. Fuck you. I can have all of my feelings about Islam, and who said that America has to get over it? I'm not over it. I don't think a lot of people are going to get over it. I also wouldn't expect that right after Pearl Harbor, even, 30 years after Pearl Harbor, people still had feelings about the Japanese. I would assume that they did. And feelings about Germans as well. So just a little bit of a breakup since we're on immigration really quick. I wanted to play this video because some jackass got caught in the razor wire on the border. I don't know if you see this video?
I did see this. Yeah, I did see this. There's a woman one too.
Deserved. Gotcha, bitch. That's what
we should have a catapult. Just launch them back over.
I'm just wondering how long he was caught up in the razor wire before Border Patrol was like, "Oh shit, didn't see you up there."
Or they probably noticed him and be like, "Oh, we'll come back in an hour. Let him just sit there for a little while. We'll come back and check on him."
They were all mad.
There's
The Biden administration was mad about Texas using razor wire in regards to, the border. But I mean, it's effective. Yeah. You didn't get away.
They were digging it up. Yeah, they were digging it up under out of Texas during the Biden administration. They were literally using backhoes or what have you to remove all this stuff. They were mad. They were mad at him using. I actually had this queued earlier. It's not that it's important, but yeah, I mean, don't forget. I mean, Texas was being sued by the federal government under Biden because they were trying to protect their own borders from Mexico.
Yep.
Or from the southern border, not just Mexico itself, but just people coming in from Mexico. And they were sued, and they were instructed to remove their barriers, their water barriers, their fences, barbed wire fences, what have you. I mean, people talk about how the border wasn't open. Oh, it was wide open. I'm so tired of hearing this. I'm so tired of hearing this lie. I love that too, by the way. I love that for him.
I heard that so many times on live over the last week of like, Biden was securing the border, and it was secure. No, it wasn't. Stop it. Oh. No, it wasn't. So here's a little bit of comedic relief for you because
where are they getting their news? I'm sorry. Where are they getting their news that Biden was securing their borders? Do they try to source you anything?
No, man. They're just like,
okay.
It's all fifis. It's all my feelings, or they do like the Candace Owens theory. Like, you don't think if this would have happened that A would get to Z? Like, no. No, sir.
That's
no,
insane.
I don't. But if you want to watch white people gone wild, Exhibit A at this church, where they are teaching people how to respond when immigrants are getting arrested by ICE.
Has already started, as we said. People have been doing the same thing. This was an event at a church there on Monday night. People acted out immigration detainments, and the rest of the room practiced filming them and making noise to call attention to them. Has already started.
So, okay, there's so many thoughts running through my brain right now. I can't even like collect one. So they're instructing them to make the situation look as bad as possible, and instructing others to record people while screaming to make the situation look as bad as possible.
Yes.
So crisis actors. These are crisis actors that we're talking about here.
Yes, they're over here like, don't worry, I got you. I got it on recording. Don't worry, Juan Pablo. I'm coming for you.
By the way,
I got it all on recording.
These white liberal women especially, but the men as well. What are you doing with it? Why do you hate yourself so much? Why? And also, I want to know what your cuck chair is. What's on your cuck chair? Is it leather? Is it crushed velvet? I mean, what's the lining your chair in the corner of your bedroom? I need to know. I need to know. There's something else. There's something going on here. Why are you so sad and you just want to dehumanize yourself further than you already are? I don't understand this thinking process. I talk about this on a regular basis. I don't understand why people just hate themselves so much. They've been convinced to hate themselves so much. I don't get it.
Speaking of people that probably hate themselves this week, I would like to check in with our K-pop demon hunter, Jasmine Crockett. In case you guys didn't know what if you guys didn't know what my demon hunter,
that's a new one. I like it.
Like K-pop demon hunter reference was, okay, this is the like new it was like an animated movie that came out. It's called K-pop Demon Hunters, and it's got this silly little hairstyle that's kind of like a big fat braid all the way down the back. And so it always reminds me of Jasmine Crockett every time I see her doing her, bitch fest on mainstream media. So here's one of the bitch fests that we got from her this week.
I just love her voice. I'm ready for it.
See what I mean? It's fucking K-pop demon hunter, okay? Once you see it, you can't unsee it.
Because I'm sorry, but like we don't have ethical like rules that say that you can't receive text messages or you can't respond to text messages, especially if somebody has a certain record and you can't do it in committee. We all be sitting on our phones. And yes, people be.
Why does she look like she's taking a shit the entire time? Is it just me? Just if you turn the audio off and you just looked at her face, it looks like she's struggling on a toilet. That angle too, that upward angle, it looks like she's.
Give it a try.
Okay, sorry, I wasn't trying to like sidebar too much, but oh
No,
my God,
you're good. I turned off the volume just to see it.
yeah, go back a few seconds.
Why is it always like the head bobbing thing? Like, does your neck hurt when you're like doing this every time you talk? Like, I just don't know.
Her hair looks heavy too.
Telling you, it's K-pop Demon Hunter, of course.
I'm
right,
sorry, but like we don't have ethical like rules that say that you can't receive text messages or you can't respond to text messages, especially if somebody has a certain record and you can't do it in committee. We all be sitting on our phones, and yes, people be texting.
That's not true. There actually are rules to this.
Text us. Like everybody texts us. Like people. I remember when I had the bleached blonde situation. You know who was texting me? My pastor. Okay, so like, let me be clear. There is no ethical violation, and so the idea or the audacity to decide that you want to strip a Black woman of her committee assignment because she was texting with Epstein. Because
Who said anything about her being Black? And also, actually, there is ethics rules that prohibit people from interacting with certain individuals.
Prolific
at all
pedos
while in Congress. Yeah, there are. So she lied. There actually is ethic rules that would 100%. She just lies so much. And even if there weren't, maybe it's a good rule of thumb to not talk to a convicted pedophile during a congressional hearing. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe that's me thinking. Maybe I'm outside the box here, but I think it's maybe a good idea if you're a Congress member not to be in contact with a convicted pedophile.
I mean, don't believe them for a single fucking second. If Donald Trump was sitting here texting Jeffrey Epstein, stop chewing. I'm not chewing. Okay, don't forget to talk about Rona. Who's Rona? If that was Donald Trump doing that, know that they would be fucking demanding impeachment articles tomorrow. That was what all of this was about, was to catch Donald Trump doing something. And in fact, they caught themselves doing it. And now they're doing backbends and overtime and witch hazeling their buttholes to cover up for why Stacey Plaskett is talking to Jeffrey Epstein. There is no excuse.
Receiving or bringing, calling for Epstein to come to dinner for donations, soliciting donations from Jeffries. I mean, or for Jeffries from Epstein. They're just everything they do, everything they accuse Donald Trump of doing, they are themselves doing, left, right, and center. Every time we turn a corner, it's another one of these. Every time. I can't wait to see what else comes out. I'm absolutely convinced at this point. Listen, I don't like to say Donald Trump is playing 4D chess here or 3D chess or what have you. Okay, I think maybe it's true. Maybe Donald Trump is he's surrounded by some very smart people. Let the Democrats demand this information come out themselves, and then the moment we think it's right, we'll just let them have it. Take it. You can take it. Just take these files. Expose yourselves.
I'm starting to think that the cat fight between Donald Trump and Elon Musk was staged. The whole Donald Trump is in the files, which led all of these people down the rabbit hole to we need to release these files. And then the second that these files got released, it's oh shit, we didn't know that this was going to actually incriminate us. Donald Trump already knows that he's not in these files. I think everybody knows he's not in them because Biden's administration would have found a backwards way to leak the portions that would incriminate Donald Trump, just to add it for the campaign trail. They wouldn't have cared about any of that.
Did I just get a notification? Or did you just get a notification? It's on my screen. It's on my box.
It's on your screen. I don't know what it has to do with me, but
Wait. Oh, you know what it is? It's my separate YouTube widgets going through here. I'm sorry. That's my apologies. I forgot to disable that. So somebody followed me on YouTube on my main account, on my private account. So my account.
So
that's funny. Sorry.
K-pop Demon Hunter also got herself in trouble as well because she went out on the House floor while we were trying to censure Stacey Plaskett, and she made insinuations that Jeffrey Epstein was sending donations to a bunch of Republican representatives, and this was so bad for her because it turned out that it wasn't Jeffrey Epstein, like the pedo. It was like a doctor who was also named Jeffrey Epstein. So even The View called her out for the lie that she put out. I mean, it's pretty embarrassing when these white chicks are calling you out.
Both sides of the aisle are hurling accusations about ties with Epstein. Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett had to walk back false claims against some Republicans. Even she is involved here. And House Oversight Committee Chairman pointed the finger at Democrats. She is the chairman.
Folks who also took money from somebody named Jeffrey Epstein, as I had my team dig in very quickly. Mitt Romney, the NRCC, Lee Zeldin.
My team, what they did is they Googled, and that is specifically why I said a Jeffrey Epstein. Unlike Republicans,
This is why every single fucking time that I'm debating a Democrat on TikTok and they're like, I for real, Google it. And I'm like, I'm not fucking Googling it. You want to know why? Because Google's fucking wrong a lot of the time. And you have to do more than like a 5-second search on Google, because if you do a 5-second search on Google, you're probably going to get a lot of wrong answers when you're put up against like actual legit documentation.
I at least don't go out and just tell lies.
What's up?
Don't they put the address of the people who donated? Isn't there an address attached? Like, I understand there's no photo attached, but they attach an address to these people.
The address, the state.
Yeah.
I think like their full name, date of birth, I think is also on there as well. So I learned this too when I was going down the rabbit hole for that guy who did the attack on the Mormon church. And I was looking to see who he had donated money to. And so when you go on Open Secrets and go look at who donated what to what campaign, or the FEC submissions, like that's how you know who did it. So, I mean, this is DEI hiring for the win.
Because it was not the same one, that's fine. But when Lee Zeldin had something to say, all he had to say was it was a Jeffrey Epstein. He admitted that he did receive donations from a Jeffrey Epstein, so at least I wasn't trying to mislead people.
Okay, it is also false that Mitt Romney and the NRCC took money. What's the NRCC?
The National Republican Congressional Committee.
Okay.
And she named Lee Zeldin, who also did not take
So
money.
it's not true that they took money from Jeffrey Epstein? Yeah. So is this
a different Jeffrey Epstein?
Okay, yeah, it's a different It's so confusing
but Joy,
and annoying.
There's nothing confusing about this, Joy.
People get so frustrated with politicians. Yeah. Something horrible was done. We all agree on that. Epstein engaged in horrific crimes. Yeah. But people care more about, well, my team didn't do it, your team did. Yeah.
And why is this a political issue?
Exactly.
I mean, it's
also
sex abuse of children.
When she said my team looked into this quickly, when you're going to throw out an accusation that big, which we all know this case is that big, just own it, say it was a mistake, and move on, because to then try to say, well, they lie and we don't lie, again, it's the distrust in Congress and our politicians.
But the bottom line is, and you've said this before, Sarah, this is not a partisan issue. This is not a
right, but I'm
political
speaking
issue.
purely to don't sling an accusation out on the congressional floor and not dial it back quickly, abruptly say, I got it wrong, and move on, because it isn't political. It's criminal.
It's hellish at this point. I don't know why there are two sides to an issue about child sexual
Shut
abuse.
up, Sonny.
There aren't two sides to it.
Shut up, Sonny.
Sonny is so irritating. Okay, just carrying water. Any chance she gets, she just carries water. Like, well, if you're going to be mad about both sides doing this, then at least show some anger towards the Democrats. It's never towards the Democrats. You always try to make it seem like, oh, I'm like really close. I'm sorry. Let me back up here. It's always towards, oh, I got that button still on. Hold on, let me turn that off. But it's always towards the right. She never criticizes her own side ever. It's always just constantly carrying the water. And Joy knows absolutely not. Why is she there? Why is Joy Reid there? I don't understand what she contributes to the conversation. It's just emotional incontinence left, right, and center. And the only one who was actually making sense was the blonde woman. She's absolutely correct. You know what, it would have ended this quickly and we would stop talking about it. At least it wouldn't have been talked about as much, is if she said, you know what, I got it wrong. Yeah, I thought it was a different Epstein. We made a mistake. And that's it. You know, there have been some, people on the right that would still, go after, but the story would die off way quicker. But instead, she doubles down. And it's so easily avoidable just to say I messed up. Even if it was on purpose, you can make it at least seem as if you're innocent in this. It wouldn't be that hard.
So do you remember The Lion King?
Do I remember The Lion King?
You remember the
Vaguely.
3 cackling hyenas in The Lion King? And there's like that really, really dumb one and that one that's like sort of sensible. That's what this reminds me of. Like Candace Owens, Jasmine Crockett, and Stacey Plaskett are both those really 3 dumb hyenas that can't do any research, can't admit when they're fucking wrong. And whenever they get caught being wrong, they can't admit that they fucked up, right? That's what it looks like to me. And Candace Owens also got caught. I don't know. Did you see the thing where Candace Owens got fucking prank called by one of her followers or whatever? Did you see that?
I didn't see this. When was this? Was this yesterday?
Oh yeah, it's pretty
Okay,
bad.
I saw the video and I never queued it up yesterday. I didn't have time, so please,
It is so embarrassing. It is just chef's kiss. Hang on, but I gotta grab it. So 1 second. In the jungle, the mighty jungle. Sorry. I just this is the moment that I've been waiting for Candace to like just eat crow, and it finally blew up in her face. I think the interview with CNN was like really embarrassing for her, but this is top tier buffoonery.
Took our time vetting this tip. We vetted it across multiple government agencies and to really the highest levels of government. So this is legit. I've printed it out, and I'm going to read around some parts, removing some parts to provide this individual, who, by the way, I have no idea who this is, but to give him and her even some more coverage. They're taking a tremendous risk, so I'm just going to read this to you guys. Candace, I'm aware that you suspect the government and other entities are involved in the events leading up to and on September 10th. You might have been wondering why SUBTT made so many visits to Wilmington, Delaware, out of all places, and I can personally answer that. The information I am giving you will implicate the FBI and various other government agencies all at the same time. I am entirely confident in stating that the plane and those vehicles are connected to 920 North King Street, which is at a place that is marketed also as 1 Rodney Square. And here's where it gets big. In June of 1997, the Department of Justice's own directory lists, quote, Wilmington Resident Office, 1 Rodney Square, Suite 404, 920 King Street, Wilmington, Delaware, 19801. That is your line to know that it is a federal resident office, 920 North King Street. And at the same address, the United States Secret Service, 920 North King Street, Wilmington, Delaware, 19801. It's the building that Snowden leaked. Find one that makes it look brown and then compare it to 920 North King Street in Wilmington. It looks exactly like a mini version of the...
That looks nothing like the fucking building that they just fucking pointed out a second ago. I'm so sorry. Just had to say that.
First off, did she add the music to this like she's Carmen Sandiego or something?
No.
Like, what is happening?
No, listen, some of these people that do these like videos that lay out everything, like they add a snare drum in for whatever reason. It's fucking like it. Just stop.
It's
just
pretty good.
no.
It
Just
sets the mood though. It sets the mood. I'll give him credit.
Back to 920 North King Street. 920 North King Street. That 920 North King Street is also the FBI. Federal SUVs move from that airport to 920 North King Street. 920 North King Street has been a federal residence office since at least 1997, and today it houses the DEA, the FBI, and the United States Secret Service, all at the same address. Wilmington is undeniably a terminal
And somebody
point,
else.
And the only logical reason points to 920 North King Street. I read this, checked it, verified it.
She read it, checked it, verified it. Okay, now this is the reference to the Macron lawsuit because she was sued by Emmanuel and Brigitte Macron.
One Rodney Square, 920 King Street, Wilmington, Delaware, 19801.
It's her attorney's office for the Brigitte Macron case.
That's insane.
like, girl, it's your own lawyer's fucking office.
That is actually bananas. And that didn't. Okay.
So we actually found out the result of the case. Candace actually cracked the case. It's actually her lawyers that assassinated Charlie Kirk. She figured it out, guys. It was her lawyers that ordered the hit.
But she verified it. She checked it. She verified. It's not. Listen, it's true. She went through it. She knows what she's talking about. I don't know how people eat this shit up, man. I will say that she has a way of speaking that I understand can be very convincing to very simple-minded people. But I assure you guys, it doesn't take much. If you just rewatch, after like 10 seconds, or she might say something convincing, rewatch that segment over and over and over again, and really just think just slightly harder than you normally do, and you will absolutely find a bunch of inconsistencies. I've been saying this for years. She's been a grifter since day one. I don't know why we're even still talking about it. I don't even know why she's as popular as she is. She's just very convincing. It's that simple. She has a way of speaking that can really convince a lot of people. I understand.
Well, it gets even better. If you didn't think that things wouldn't get more interesting with Candace Owens, it does. Steve Crowder has been trying to get people to get on his platform to talk everything out and debate, right? Word War Debate reached out with an invite to debate Candace Owens. I accepted. She rejected the offer with a $30,000 appearance fee. She can have mine, so $60,000 for an easy night out. Barring her acceptance there, I'm happy to do a straight up simulcast for free. And so here was the email receipt where they said, Steve and team, hope you are doing well. Just resending this email just in case it got lost in your spam folder. I want to give you a quick update. We reached out to Candace Owens' team regarding the debate invitation and are currently awaiting their response. Thank you again for accepting our offer headline, this event with Word War. We are excited to have you on board and look forward to working closely with your team to make this debate a standout moment in the series. We'll keep you updated as soon as we hear back from Candace's side and begin coordinating logistics. Appreciate your time and enthusiasm for this project. Really look forward to making it happen. Best regards, Jake Julius, Word War Debate. And the response...
$60,000?
$60,000 for her to just show up. She only had to do anything. And so it says, hi, Steve and team. Candace Owens and team have responded to the debate invitation, declined our offer. We hope to still work with you in the future. Jake. $60,000 for you to just show up and debate. Like, I don't understand this woman.
How are these when the people who follow Candace, the millions of people who follow and listen to this psychopath every day, how is this not a red flag to them? Because then you should start questioning everything, right? Like the Macron situation where they actually stated that they sent documents proving that, his wife was actually a woman. I don't care. And why does she care so damn much? I'm so confused on this. Okay. This has to be the straw that breaks the camel's back. You had her getting absolutely ousted, just totally ousted with that, what you just showed me prior, the video before, of the address to the own attorney thing. And then her outright refusing to even have a conversation with Steven Crowder. She just has to show up and Steven's like, you can have the $30,000. You can have my money. It's all you.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't even care if I lose the debate. If you're paying me $60,000 to show up and talk to me, I'll show up. I don't even care if I lose. I don't care. But it gets even better. Looks like another round of a desperate and fake debunking regarding the Egyptian planes. These federally sponsored trends are as fun as they are predictable now, smiley face. And I can tell you guys with absolute certainty that today I learned the federal government is in a panic about the mention of their joint DHS, FBI, DEA office at 920 North King. The tip proved absolutely solid, and I was informed so. It is now a fact that a foreign dignitary was picked up after arriving from Provo the morning of Charlie's assassination. The Egyptian plane then transferred to 920 King for some joint operation. And yes, despite the massive office space, there is nothing else in that building except a law firm. And a place to eat. The law firm piece is an interesting side fact related to portions of the email that I chose not to read on air. Yet stay tuned.
Yeah. Next time on Dragon Ball Z, every time it's like if you really had all this information, you just had the answers to everything, and you gave a shit about Charlie, you would just dump it. But you're obviously just milking this. Like, how obvious does a grift have to be to you people who are following this woman and taking her seriously? How obvious?
So the interesting part of that post is that she said that she had read about the law firm part. So like you knew that this was your attorney's address and then like left that portion out. So like Candace, what do you have to hide, Candace? Why are you hiding that your attorney's office is there? Candace, that's so suspicious. I think that's equally more suspicious because you're like best friends with Charlie. So did you also stab him in the back? Like, what does your attorney's office have to do with this? You know what I mean? That's what she's doing to other people. But she chose to leave out that information because she knows it looks bad for her.
She's connecting dots that aren't even like not even connectable. I mean, it's like I just imagine. I listen. I know obviously she's grifting, so she knows that she's lying. But let's just assume that she's being legitimate. I picture her bedroom or her office or whatever it is at home is one of those big cork, boards where they have the red strings just connecting anything and everything, and she's just spouting off nonsense because there might be some sort of connection, possibly.
We're
a little
just
bit.
asking questions.
And at this time, the sky was gray, and when it was gray means in this type of language is like, oh, what are we doing here?
Well, she even doubled down and said Brigitte Macron is now involved in this. But speaking of self-owning, Habibi Hakim out there on CNBC got absolutely bodied by this reporter that just would not let him off the hook. And you could tell that his butthole was just puckering in this interview because he was like, he looked like his eyeballs were about to pop out of his skull. I don't know.
To satiate, if you want to get done, you are going to need at least some Republicans to come over. Why not start with a 1-year extension or potentially even a 2-year extension?
Well, Leader Schumer offered a 1-year extension in the context of trying to end the Trump Republican shutdown.
Yeah, but that's different. What I'm talking about what you have now. Let's not go back to what's done in the past and what has not been extended. If you want to get something that has actually done, you need to do something that will have bipartisanship.
You can ask me the question. You can ask me the question. I'll provide the answer.
Answer the question instead of going back.
I'll provide the answer. No. I'm providing an answer in order to provide context. Republicans have repeatedly refused to take yes for an answer. It was a very reasonable multi-year extension that was offered. It was a 1-year straight extension plus a multi-year process through a bipartisan commission to more permanently resolve the Affordable Care Act issue. So having that context is absolutely important, regardless of what you may think.
It's important context to make me realize that I don't think you want to get a deal done. I think this is something where you'd like to see the rates go higher and allow the Republicans to hang themselves with that. Is that the answer?
That's absolutely
politics?
That's absolutely a ridiculous assertion, and really
ridiculous.
Shame on you for saying that, because we're fighting. It's not a partisan issue for us. In fact, the states that are most impacted as it relates to an Affordable Care Act tax credit expiration are all Republican states. We're talking about West Virginia, Wyoming, Alaska.
Not contesting that.
Mississippi.
Just name states.
Right?
Keep naming them.
Keep
naming more.
We
You
can go through
probably
the
have
list.
some Republicans who would sign on if you guys could come up with something that actually looks like a bipartisan deal.
Listen, this is not a partisan fight for us. It's a patriotic fight.
So pathetic.
I love that I think the press is kind of woken up to we're losing ratings so bad because we've turned it into partisan hacks. So now the mainstream media, I think, has picked up on the fact that if they actually ask Democrats hard questions, that it actually increases their viewership. And if they were to consistently do this instead of constantly sucking off the Democratic Party, I would actually be interested in watching mainstream media again, just for the comedic relief of watching the Democrats just scramble to answer questions.
I mean, I mean, you saw Bill Maher and Patton and Oswald, right? And Bill Maher was like, "Hey, get the hell off of Blue Sky. The news is out here. Look what's happening in the UK." And it's really nice to see this, but I think it's coming from a very disingenuous point. Just like you said, it's all about ratings, and it's always been about ratings. And they're realizing that if they're just going to cuddle up next to Democrats and side with them with every single issue, it's not going to be beneficial to their bottom line. So this has nothing to do with being honest, even though I do appreciate what she did right there. But it has nothing to do with being honest. It has everything to do with making money. That's all it is. They have no interest in actually being honest, because tomorrow that same network is going to turn around and then just support the Democrats. So there's no, and not to say that the Republicans or the GOP ever screw up. That's obviously, they obviously do all the time. But if it means I don't get it. Let me make this clear. If it means that they're going to at least be balanced, I'm okay with that. Be balanced and make money, okay? Just be honest. That's all I ask. But we've been seeing for years and years the mainstream media just completely siding with Democrats in every single position. Just very disgusting headlines. Maybe they put a few details into the first paragraph, and then that's what people run with, because they know that most people who look at the news, they're incapable of going actually into the entire article. So if it means if they're going to make money off of it, fine. Just show some sort of balance. We have a 90%. By the way, was that remind me? Was that MSNBC or CBS? Who was that?
That was CNBC.
Oh, CNBC. Okay, so CNBC. I believe it's about 88% negative reporting on Donald Trump. If I might be off a couple of percent. So they very, very rarely do anything positive for Donald Trump.
And I think, like I said, the American people woke up to the mainstream media being a propaganda arm for the Democratic Party. I think people understood that. And, Fox News has their political leanings as well. They lean very heavily conservative. But still, they put out a lot of stuff that can be easily debunked, or that simply is not true, or they overexert the truth. And so that's why I created part of my platform around, hey, like, you can't even trust everything that Fox News says. You shouldn't take mainstream media at its word. You should actually go research and make sure that you're reading past the headline. Also, make sure that when you read the whole article, make sure you can go double check to see if this is actually true, because they can get caught lying many times by misinterpreting clips, taking certain clips out of context. That's a problem that I had with mainstream media. But I'm going to touch base on this last story, which I think many people have at least heard of this story once, about the woman that had been set on fire in Chicago on a train. So this is another public transportation situation. It's like, this is getting out of control. First, it was the girl that got stabbed on the bus on her way home. Then this woman's just riding the train. She gets set on fire. U.S. Attorney's Office in Chicago charges man with federal terrorism offense for allegedly setting passenger on fire on Chicago train. The U.S. Attorney's Office in Chicago today charged a man with a federal terrorism offense for allegedly setting a passenger on fire on a Chicago Transit Authority train earlier this week. Lawrence Reed, 50, of Chicago, is charged with committing a terrorist attack against mass transportation system. Charge is punishable by a maximum sentence of life in prison. Reed is scheduled to make an initial court appearance this afternoon before a U.S. magistrate judge, Laura McNally, in federal court in Chicago. According to the criminal complaint filed today in the U.S. District Court for North District of Illinois, Reed and the victim were passengers on the CTA train traveling through the subway in downtown Chicago at approximately 9 p.m. On November 17th of 2025, Reed approached the victim, who was seated with her back towards him. Again, this is another situation where you turn your back on someone. And I keep telling people this now. Do not sit your back to anybody. I don't care who they are. If you are available to sit your back against the wall, sit your back against the wall and keep your eye on an exit door. This is just like basic survival skills 101. Don't trust that the person behind you is a safe person, period.
Well, that's so sad because these are Democrat policies, right? So was it Teresa Molina Gonzalez, the Democrat, who was a Cook County judge who denied the detention requests for Lawrence Reed after his 49th arrest?
Yes.
What? They just keep letting these people out. So be aware of what they're doing in where you live, because this wouldn't happen where I live. 49 arrests. He had 10 which included 10 felonies, by the way, over the course of his criminal career. And they just let this guy out. They denied the detention request.
Yes.
So just be aware. Just be aware of what they're doing where you live. I mean, obviously, you should always be aware of people surrounding you. There's crazies everywhere. But my guess is, and listen, I'm not a betting man, but I would be willing to bet there's probably more crazies just roaming the streets. If you have these places, these areas that are allowing people to go back on the streets after they've been arrested for 49 fucking times. 49 with 10 felonies.
Same thing that happened to that other guy who was arrested that stabbed the girl on the bus. Same thing. He had been arrested multiple times, let back out on the street, and even his mother was like, he's mentally ill. We've said that he's mentally ill.
Brown Jr. Yeah, that was his name. DeCarlos Brown Jr. This was, by the way, the victim's name is Irena. I can never pronounce her last name. It's Zarutska. I'm obviously
Zaritska.
I'm not trying to be disrespectful.
Zaritska.
Yeah. So yeah, just wanted to make sure we got her name in
Well,
there.
so
yeah, same thing. Yeah, exactly. He was arrested in Saint. Like I know there's a number. Gosh, let me see. Oh, I have the number here. Oh, I just lost it.
While you're looking at that, I'll read the rest of the thing. Reed approached the victim, who was seated with her back towards him, took the cap off a bottle of liquid, and poured the liquid all over the victim's head and body, the complaint states. The victim ran, but Reed caught up with her, at which he ignited the bottle and it fell out of his hand onto the floor, the complaint says. Reed picked up the bottle that was now on fire, approached the victim, used the bottle to light her on fire, the complaint states. The victim was engulfed in flames and was able to depart the train. She remains in the hospital with critical injuries. The investigation revealed Reed had purchased gasoline at the Chicago gas station, and it was filled it in with a handheld container. Approximately 20 minutes before the incident on the train, the complaint states. Reed was arrested by Chicago police officers November 18th of 2025 in Chicago, and he was taken into federal custody today. So, again, this is absolutely fucking crazy what we're dealing with today. And now in today's society, this is democratic criminal justice for you.
Yeah, so we had the previous guy we were talking about, DeCarlos Brown Jr., was arrested 14 times. Obviously, he's in jail now for that first-degree murder. And a few of, it looks like, let me see the charge here. So we have, so the previous time he was released was the misuse of 911. He had like a psychotic episode. We have an assault charge in 2020, robbery with a dangerous weapon in 2013 through 2014, a bunch of misdemeanors, speeding, don't care about speeding. But yeah, I mean, and constant misuse of dialing 911. This guy obviously not necessarily needed to be in jail, because if you look at his track record from 2020 to 2000 to up until the murder, not this one we're talking about here, we're talking about the previous. He was constantly miscalling 911 emergency services in general and saying crazy shit. So, and he was arrested because he did this three separate times. And you would think at some point in time, you'd be like, all right, this guy needs to be checked into a mental facility. He's obviously not well. He's gonna do something crazy. He has a bit of a history here. How about we get him off the streets? How about that? How about we stop just letting this guy go back into society? But instead, they let him go on January 19th of 2025, and then on August 22nd, he ends up killing Irena. So, I mean, to what point? And this guy we were just talking about here was even worse. 49 arrests with 10 felonies. I mean, what are we doing?
They don't care. They don't care. And that's what I'm saying. Like, we need to pass a federal law that says 3 strikes. 3 strikes, you're done. Okay? I'm so sorry. We gave you 3 opportunities to be a normal person within society. If you can't do that and we catch you doing this 3 times with violent crimes, you're done. Stay in prison. Okay, if you can't take it and we can't trust you to be out on the street, then you need to be constantly supervised. So go into the prison system, stay in the prison system. No opportunity for you to get back out. And watch how these crimes will drop when they know that they're going to spend life in prison. It will, because we don't take it seriously. We don't hold these people accountable. Honestly, bring it back to the Wild Wild West days. I'm over it. You know, I'm sick of it. And this is all Democratic Party justice system. This is what they want. They want to let criminals do whatever the fuck they want.
These policies are radicalizing people. You know what I mean? Like, you have these communities where authorities have unveiled. Wait, this man was arrested 49 times and had 10 felonies alongside that. This other man was arrested 14 times. What, like, these people are going to start asking some real questions, and the pendulum's going to go the other way, like you said, and we might go back to the Wild Wild West type of situations, because, you know, if I don't know about federalizing the 3 strikes necessarily. Obviously, the severity and the type of crime would obviously matter. We're talking about 3 strikes in terms of felonies, yeah, felonies.
3 strikes of violent crime.
Violent crime. Okay,
if you're ended up with 3 separate assault charges, sorry, go to prison, stay there.
Yeah,
we can't trust you out on the street. Anything in regards to violent crime, we catch you raping people, we catch you assaulting children, molesting children. I'm sorry, once for molesting children. One time, you're out. We catch you diddling kids one fucking time, you don't get back out on the street. And the only reason that this exists is because the Democratic Party and the fucking hippies of the 60s, 70s, and whatever were out there like, oh, well, it's just not humane. Like, the electric chair isn't humane. All of this stuff was just all about, oh, like, we just got to be nice to the prisoners. Fuck you.
You know what's humane? The guillotine. Bring it back. Sharp blades. It was fast. Very fast.
I just care more about innocent people within society going about their lives, and simply because they turn their back on the wrong person, it costs them their life. And there's people that took people's lives and they don't lose their own. Like, I'm so sorry. If we find beyond reasonable doubt, DNA proof, all of that, it's just completely founded that you did this, I'm sorry. You need to go. If you take a life, an eye for an eye.
Well, I mean, you're only incentivizing criminal activity when you're not actually penalizing these people. They're allowed to just walk out with very little actual recourse. They just go in, they get processed, then they just get let go. We're not just talking about just catch and releases. We're talking about cashless bails. There's a lot of policies that these Democrat cities are pushing through because they don't want to be. Well, I don't really know what their goal is. I really wish I did. I've sat here and tried to rationalize this in my head and tried to figure out what are they trying to do here. What is the end goal here? Because none of that makes sense to me at all. I can't figure it out.
Did you see that they are passing? It actually passed through the House a bill that is banning no cash bail.
Yes, I did see that.
Okay,
yeah,
so it's just waiting to go through the Senate right now, which I'm pretty sure it's gonna pass.
So is it cut and dry? You obviously know more about this than me. Is it just a very cut and dry, a couple paragraph bill, or is there any pork in there, or what am I supposed to expect out of this?
Well, let's take a look at it really quick.
Yeah, I'm curious. I am curious because if it's cut and dry and you see Democrats go after this or go against this, this is gonna be a nail in a coffin. Not the nail, but it's going to be a nail. But I'd just be curious to see, because, you know, you see a lot of these bills, and some of them are, you know, the TDS one, which was hilarious. I don't know if you saw that. The TDS research. Did you see that?
Mm-mm. Oh, yes, I did see that. Yeah, I found that through Logic and Liberty. That was really funny.
It's the troll. Absolutely hilarious that actually hit the floor. It's been introduced. Obviously, it's not going to go through. It's more of a FU, but it's still really funny, though, so...
Okay, I believe
I'd be interested
that this is. I believe that this is the one. Hold on.
Sure. Yeah, the thing is like you see a lot of these bills, and they like to slip something in, like, yeah, let's do this, but I'm gonna try to get something for myself. You know, that's what I'm concerned about. So if it's cut and dry and the Democrats go against this, I think this will be a huge L for the Democrats.
Well, Donald Trump did an executive order on this, taking steps to end cashless bail. But I believe that this is...
I don't think there was much pushback on that executive order from what I remember. At least nothing I've seen personally.
It seems like this is specifically in regards to District of Columbia.
Okay.
So it wouldn't be something that I think is going forth throughout the entire country.
Let's see how cut and dry this is. I'd be curious.
So it's HR 5214, District of Columbia Cash Bail Reform Act of 2025. It passed the House. So this would be the one that was recently voted upon.
How did it pass? Does it show how it passed? Like what the voting record was up there?
Yeah, you want to see the roll call vote?
Yeah, roll call. Yeah, thank you. I couldn't think of the word. Just curious how it was split.
It was 237 right here, yays, and 179 nays.
Okay.
So that was the roll call vote on that.
It's a pretty big gap there. That's a respectable gap.
Let's just see. It doesn't seem like it's long at all. Mandatory pretrial and post-conviction detention, crime of violence or dangerous crime, which is what I agreed with. I think this is the 3-strike. It should be what 3 strikes should be based on. So burglary, attempted burglary, inserting burglary in the first degree, attempted burglary in the first degree or burglary dangerous weapon, robbery, removal of crime of violence and dangerous crime from pretrial release procedures. So they're just readjusting amendments. Subject to rebuttal by the person, it shall be presumed that no condition or combination of conditions of release will reasonably assure the safety of another person in the community if the judicial officer finds that there is probable cause to believe that the person has threatened, injured, or intimidated, attempted to threaten, injure, and intimidate a law enforcement officer or officer of the court or prospective witness or juror in any crime or criminal investigation or judicial proceeding.
I'm more or less looking for just something sneaky in here, you know, like removal, murder offenses. Okay, it's hard because they can really just blend it in. So you gotta. The Republicans introduced this, yeah. I'm gonna assume, obviously.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I'm not seeing anything sneaky now.
Yes, Elise Stefanik.
It looks pretty cut and dry to me.
Elise Stefanik, she's a Republican. It doesn't look like it to me. I mean, it's very short. It's a very small read to begin with. It just lays out the defining bonds.
Okay. I mean, yeah, it looks pretty cut and dry. This doesn't look overly complicated at all.
No.
It doesn't look like anything's being. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything in there. At least at glance that seems like they're trying to sneak something weird in, like.
No,
weird funding towards a project or anything that
And let me see if there's any amendments on this. I think that's another thing you have to look for is to make sure they don't have amendments.
Well, and then the Senate might try to sneak some amendments in there as well. So this is where it gets tricky because then we just play ping pong with this bill. So even though it passed the House, doesn't really mean a whole much because you might see Democrats saying, "Okay, we'll do that, but we're going to add this in there." Okay, we'll send it back to the House. Yeah. It can get annoying.
They debated it.
Sure.
I didn't see that they added any amendments.
Nice. Okay. Well, we'll see what the Senate does with it. They might kick it back to the House with some additions or reductions of some kind. So we'll see how this goes. I'll keep an eye on it. That was 5214. Let me write this down. So
it was received by the Senate, so it's sitting on.
Gotcha.
The desk of John Thune. So.
5-2. I'm gonna keep my eye on this. I'm interested to see if they try to add something in and kick it back to the House or not. So we'll find out.
We'll find out. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I think that concludes the end of the show. I think it's been a really busy week with all of the Epstein drops that the 20,000 emails kind of blow back on the Democratic Party. We're about to get more releases of the Epstein files. Hopefully the judicial branch unseals some of these documents so that we can have a closer look at it. Outside of that, I think, next week will be increasingly more interesting as the political hotbed continues.
These are the days of our lives, Millie. Like sands through the hourglass.
You have to admit, politics never gets boring. It is just constant entertainment no matter what. So I think that's what I like about it.
When Trump entered the scene, this thing just turned into the theater. It's just grab your popcorn 24/7 at this point. It's nuts.
Well, politics will never be this entertaining again. So I just want to thank everybody for joining us here today. Thank you so much for joining us on the Red River Republic podcast. I will be working with some TikTok creators, conservative TikTok creators, to kind of create like a round table of topics that we want to talk to and discuss as conservative content creators on what our differences are. So not just the things that we agree with, but the things that we disagree on is what I would like to touch base on. And hopefully we can platform that here at Red Rover Republic podcast. And again, thank you for coming out. Make sure you follow Unrealness on his TikTok account. He has 2 accounts on TikTok, Unrealness with double E's and Unrealness the Great. You can also follow me, Millie Shushies, on TikTok as well. I have 2 accounts, Millie Shushies and Millie X Shushies. Make sure that you follow us there. I go live Monday through Friday, starting at 9:30 Pacific time. Thank you so much, and it has been a pleasure entertaining you all today.
It's been amazing, guys.